What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video I want to talk about how narc parents or toxic parents groom their children to lie for them. And this happens when you become an adult and your narcissistic parent, what happens is that they show you a whole different side of them in front of other people, and they recall things that didn't happen in your childhood. You know that it was the total opposite of what they're claiming to have happened. And they try to groom you by, gaslighting you and brainwashing you to say things like, yeah, I remember that. And a lot of times as adults you do that, go along and get along because you want peace. And because you're holding on to false hope that maybe, okay, this time things are get better for us. And the whole while, they're just putting on an act in front of other people to make it seem like you had a good relationship when you didn't really have a relationship at all with them. Because a lot of times in your childhood, you don't have good memories of your narc parents because they were hardly ever there. And when they were there, they showed you a very ugly side of them, a very verbally abusive side of them, and God forbid, maybe even a physical abusive side of them. And that's not something that you want to remember. What you try to do is dig up the happy moments. But it's hard to do that because there were hardly ever any happy moments with your toxic parents. They blamed you a lot of times for their own failures. They use things that, you were really good at, or things you were put in the spotlight for, award ceremonies at school and everything. They use that to take credit, for your accomplishments, even as a little child. But things that didn't really benefit them, that gave them that grandiose image, they don't really care about. They don't make good parents. They use their children as punching bags. They criticize and complain a lot. And they, what happens is you grow up to thinking how bad things were. But you just wish that it was better. And you never give up hope on it. But you can't help to recall how bad your parent treated you. So they try to groom you when you become an adult. And they do this a lot of times in front of others. Because, of course, narcissists, they treat you different in front of others than they do behind closed doors. So when you have a narc parent in public, what happens is that they put on an act. They need to put on a show to make other people believe that you had a wonderful relationship. And they want you to recall these fake memories that did not happen. And this is just another gaslighting technique. They use that to make you think that things were good. They want you to only think about something that they're making up for the moment. And what happens in your mind is that you wish it was like that, so you agree with it. You kind of go along and get along for the moment. You just want peace. You just want peace. So you agree to these things that in your mind didn't even happen. What they're doing is grooming you to lie for them. I have seen this happen before. And, the look on your face is confusing. And now you're kind of questioning your parents' mental state. Because it's like, they know that it didn't happen. They just need you to agree to something so that it makes them look good in front of other people. Forget about how they treated you. Brush it off, grow up, let it go. That's how narc parents treat you to deal with things Just let it go. A lot of times, like parents, they are so, horrible to their children that, children grow up to be kind of narcissistic to the point that they treat other people like that. They weren't treated in a loving way. They didn't have that special bond with their parents. So it's hard for them to treat other people like that. And again, they groom you into thinking that, okay, if I just make up something, they'll go along with it. You remember when we did this and when we went on vacation here or there? And you're like, I remember going, but not with you. I went with grandma, or I went with aunt so-and-so, or I went with my friend's family. We didn't go on vacation together. And what they do is cross-talk you and go on and on and on because they don't want you to get a word in. So you're sitting there thinking like, yeah, I remember the fun time I had. That's all they need you to do is remember it. And maybe even let you get a word in by saying, yeah, I remember it. But they don't want you to be too vocal about it because, you may end up exposing them like, well, that wasn't with you. We never went on vacation together. And I told y'all before, I work with somebody who, it's just like they're always somebody different. Every time you look around, when new supply comes, the narcissist is pretending to be that person, mimicking that person. They're talking like them, dressing like them, or trying to dress like them. Imitating, never duplicating, just imitating. They could never be original. They copy off of everyone who comes in their life. And the thing about it is, they do that sometimes not realizing that it'll blow up in their face if their children are kind of outspoken. So that's why they kind of groom them up and butter them up, and be a little more, show fake, this fake loving side. Like, oh, we had a good relationship. And you remember this? And you're like, where is this coming from? And you find it funny because in your mind, you wish that it would have happened. But I remember when I used to work with a narc, and she was bringing up how she used to smoke. People were talking about how hard it was to quit smoking. I do remember that part of the conversation. And the narc brought up, yeah, I know, I used to. And she just didn't sound like somebody who really used to smoke. It's like she just wanted to be a part of the conversation, just to feel included, just to be fake as usual. And I was like, oh, you used to smoke? Oh, okay. And she was saying that how she hid it from her daughters. And they was like, the people were like, well, my kids know, they knew that I smoked, and it was a struggle, but, God delivered me from that habit. And I'm just thankful that that's a part of my past. And she was like, well, yeah, mine didn't even know. I wouldn't let them know that I did, And I said, oh, you smoked? And she said, yeah, but I don't want them to know. I don't want them to know. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell your kids. Like, it's just the thing that stuck with me the most. Like, they didn't know. Your children know your habits. And that's just something you can't hide. It's all over you. The scent is going to be over you. It's all over you. So you can't hide it. If anything, you don't want it to get back to your children because you're lying and you didn't used to smoke. Another time she mentioned how she had went to college. And her daughter was like, Mom, you didn't go to college. And she gave that girl the death look. I'm telling you, if eyes could kill, it's just the thing that they try to make you believe that certain things happen. They just want you to agree with it and don't say nothing. Keep quiet. Let me have this moment in front of these people so that I can feel important or something, or feel a part of the crowd. That's what they do. And they play these type of mind games with their children from childhood to adulthood. They groom you to lie for them. So that concludes this video. Y'all leave y'all thoughts down below on it. Thank y'all for watching. And I will talk to you soon.